Hello fellow Murdlers! Today is Tuesday, February 27th, 2024, and it's a great day to solve a murder. So today we have a 3x3 grid. We've got suspects, weapons, motives, and locations. As always, each of these has a one-to-one relationship, so each suspect will only have one weapon in one location with one motive. Today we've got, let's see, Bishop Azure I see. Let's flip over our suspects. Bishop Azure, Chancellor Tuscany, and Coach Raspberry. And let's see, we have clues and evidence, and we do see this final red clue. This signifies that everything we need to know is within the clues and evidence and our cards up here. So we don't need to look at any suspect statements or anything else like that. So let's see, a walking stick was used to commit the murder. So that tells us that we know the how already. So whomever has the walking stick, that will be our murderer, but we still need to figure out who that is, where they were, and why they committed the murder. So as always in our grid, if we want to mark something as no, we do one check with an X. Sorry, 2 clicks is a check, 1 click is an X, 3 is a question mark, and 4 will clear it out. So let's go ahead and dive into our clues and evidence. Okay, so right off the bat, we've got either Coach Raspberry was off of a trail or Coach Raspberry brought a climbing rope. So that means that these two, one of these two must be true, and these two can't both be true. When I have a clue like this, I typically skip them and move on and then come back once I have a bit more information. It just makes it a little easier to keep track of everything. Analysts discovered traces of a weapon made of fiber on the clothing of Chancellor Tuscany. So we see Chancellor Tuscany is kind of like this mauve pink. And let's look at the weapons. We've got made of metal, made of metal, made of fiber, climbing rope. So we know that Chancellor Tuscany had the climbing rope. So we can go ahead and mark that as a yes. And as we mentioned before, we know now that Chancellor Tuscany did not have any of the other weapons. So Chancellor Tuscany did not have a snow globe or a walking stick, and none of the other suspects could have had these climbing ropes because Chancellor Tuscany had them. Let's go ahead and turn this off. And here we go. This is exactly why I typically skip these. So this says either Coach Raspberry was off of a trail or Coach Raspberry brought climbing rope. So we know that Coach Raspberry did not bring climbing rope because Chancellor Tuscany did. So that means we now know the location for Coach Raspberry. So trailhead, yes, okay. Let's go ahead and mark Coach Raspberry as being on the trailhead. And then just as before, that means Coach Raspberry could not have been in either of the other two locations, and also none of the other suspects could have been in the location that Coach Raspberry was in. Right. So now I've got 2 done. One of Logico's contacts in the holy band of the terrible fire gave him this tip. Okay, so this is a cool one. Okay, so right away, I see GSV. I know that's not going to be an anagram. This is like a decoder puzzle. And so on days when we have these, you can click this decode button here. And you've got this detective code. It's like a decoder ring that you can kind of move around. So I've just clicked on this yellow bit here. I'm just kind of moving it. I'm looking to see if the letters will align. Okay, nothing there. Here we go. So as you can see, there are 2 different types here. So let's try this one. We're just going to do the same thing. Here we go. Okay, the person who wanted to rage with jealousy was at the boutique hotel. Great, so let's go ahead and close this out. And again, we just kind of toggled this, right? So it was on A before, and that wasn't giving us anything. We could kind of circle it around, and we still weren't seeing what we wanted to see. But then, let's see, when we switched it over to detective code, we got it there. And again, you can kind of swirl it around. This one for me, I don't have like the best approach, I would say here. I kind of just do trial and error with it. So if anyone has like a really good trick or tip here, I would be really interested. So leave a comment if you have a good trick here. But for now, we'll just take this clue from the code. The person who wanted to rage with jealousy was at the boutique hotel. So let's go ahead and cross that off. And we know the boutique hotel is marked by this bed icon. So we need to find motive, rage with jealousy, that's the heart, and the hotel. So we can look at this quadrant between motives and locations. All right. Now we know this motive in this location. That also tells us that since we know that this that Coach Raspberry is associated with a different location from the boutique hotel, we know that raging with jealousy was not the motive for Coach Raspberry, so we can mark that off as well. Okay. The suspect with the snow globe also had blonde hair. So let's go ahead and look at our suspects. We have Bishop Azure with brown hair, gray hair for Chancellor Tuscany, and blonde hair for Coach Raspberry. So we know now Coach Raspberry had the snow globe, so we can go ahead and we're going to actually complete our suspect and weapon grid here. Great. So Coach Raspberry had the snow globe, and I think that may be all the information we get from this. I'll put this motive here too also, since we know that's not Coach Raspberry's motive. Yeah, that's all we've got for now, but that's okay, we can keep going. Okay, so whoever wanted to fight for the revolution had brown hair. All right, so I think, yeah, Bishop Azure has brown hair. So we can give Bishop Azure this motive. So that means Coach Raspberry's motive was to escape blackmail, I think. Yeah. And that means Chancellor Tuscany was the one who wanted to rage with jealousy, which means Chancellor Tuscany was at the hotel, which means that Bishop Azure was at the 5-star restaurant. Okay, so now we actually have all the information we need. I'm gonna fill out the grid. I always fill out my grid. I just really like having it all set. So let's see, we've got Chancellor Tuscany in the boutique hotel with the ropes for jealousy. So let's go ahead and make those checks and our corresponding X's. We've got Coach Raspberry with the snow globe to escape blackmail in the trails. Okay, and then the last two, this one is blackmail and this one is fighting for the revolution. Okay, so that's our grid. So let's go back here. All right, so whomever had the walking stick is our murderer, so that means in this case Bishop Azure was our murderer today. So we can go ahead and switch this Bishop Azure with a walking stick in the 5-star restaurant. And why? To fight for the revolution. And were we right? We'll go ahead and make our accusation. Let's see. We were right. Awesome. So that's Tuesday's Murdle. I hope you enjoyed the walkthrough, and thanks for watching.